Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. So glad you're here on this July 6th. It's not 6th? No, it's the 7th. Didn't even change that. We're streaming live on YouTube and on Rumble and on DLive on Rumble. We're at rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. Just bookmark it. Easy to find. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're diving into a topic that's as entertaining as pro wrestling. You guessed it, fact-checking. Now, I love fact-checkers. I do. And they're pretty much the enhancement talent of the media world. They step into the ring to make sure we're all playing fair. But sometimes it feels like they're trying a little too hard to build up their own credibility. It's like they want to be the Roman Reigns of fact-checking, you know, delivering that Superman punch that makes you go, wow, this guy's good. I mean, have you ever noticed how fact-checkers publish these simple fact-checks that are obvious as a wrestler, you know, body-slamming a hapless opponent? It's like saying, hey, guess what? Water's wet. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. We already knew that. It's like watching a squash match where the winner is announced before the bell even rings. We get it, guys. We really do. But hey, I like the strategy. It's all about building credibility. They want us to make it a habit to believe fact-checkers, to hang on to their every word. Just like we do when we see a wrestler, you know, deliver a powerbomb. They want us to trust them implicitly. So they drop a fact-checking bombshell. We're like, oh my God, I can't believe they just dropped that truth bomb on us. And I have to admit it, sometimes it works. It's hard not to be persuaded by someone who throws around facts like the Undertaker throwing his opponent over the top rope. But let's be real here, folks. Fact checkers, just like wrestlers, can have biases and agendas. So while they may dazzle us with their fact-checking skills, it's important to remember that we should always keep a skeptical eye, just like we do when we see a wrestling storyline unfold. So next time you come across a fact check, remember, it's their version of a squash match. They want to dominate the narrative, build credibility, and make sure you trust them wholeheartedly. But just like in wrestling, it's up to us to stay informed, question what we're being told, and not just blindly accept everything that comes our way. Remember, fact checkers, and more importantly, those that employ the fact checkers, have their own motives. And too often, they're less believable than pro wrestling. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. Best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Fact checking. Yes, that's what we're talking about today. Which mouse am I using here? Here we go. So, I was looking for a fact check yesterday, and I started doing some searching just to see what the fact checkers were talking about. And I noticed an awful lot of just kind of, well, no kidding stories. And so I thought that's what we would look at right now. Google, I've talked about this in the past, Google has a new, I'm not going to call it a service, a new page. And it's a fact check explorer in which you can use it to, you know, look up pictures, look up fact checks, and they've brought all the fact checking together. So let's just take a look at this. Now, this right here, I am going into this blind. I've not looked at it today. Right here, we can click on Recent Fact Checks. And let's just go through this, and let's see how similar this is to a squash match. Now, if you're not a pro wrestling fan, a squash match, just to define it, okay? Just because I don't know if I did a good job explaining it. Often we'll have this big bad guy that's just a badass. Well, the roster's only so big, right? So he can only beat everybody on the roster, you know, so many times. So what they do is they bring in enhancement talent, or, you know, local talent when the traveling wrestling show. Local guys that the big monster can beat up. And one of the reasons that they do this is they want the monster, the big guy, to just seem dominant, to be powerful. You want to be persuaded when you see this guy to be like, oh, this guy can really take care of business, right? And the analogy that I'm making is with fact checkers, they just do these fact checks that are really dumb, that anybody would know the answer to, that you would be able to fact check without much help at all, okay? They're straw men. They're just these easy opponents that could get beat very simply. And what I'm saying is, rather than actually checking facts, what they're doing is they're trying to build credibility by having all of these nonsense fact checks, all these no-duh fact checks, as kids would say in the 80s, right? So that then when they turn around and they do a fact check that maybe they're not accurate on, you're going to believe them anyway, because they've built up this record of just getting things right. So let's take a look at what Google is showing us for. These are the recent fact checks. And again, I have not looked at this today. Just checking on. Yeah, we're streaming. Everything's good. All right. So this first one, video shows visuals of French police beating up protesters, including women, during the 2023 riots, and they say false. It was probably from some other time. That's a standard thing. And how easy is this if you're a fact checker? You just find something online that's nonsense. You know, maybe even you have your buddy publish it. Make it easy. And then you can just say it's not true. So here we go to the next fact check. Again, this is just what's up on this Google fact-checking tools. The first ever simultaneous trade fair for livestock and aquaculture in the Philippines was attended by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on July 5th. They're just saying, no, that's not true. Let's... Netherlands doctors are euthanizing disabled citizens to save the planet. I mean, just think about that. Is there any way that that's going to be true? That doctors are just euthanizing disabled people for climate change or, you know, save the planet, right? Of course that's nonsense. And look who did that. That's USA Today. USA Today did that one. Air conditioning makes you sick. And they're saying, no, doesn't. Okay. This is a result of a gas explosion in Paris last month. And I haven't seen it. I don't need to see it. Someone just posted it. There's been some stuff happening in France, and people just go through and find things in the past, and they post it and say, oh, look, this just happened. Why? Because it gets clicks, and fact checkers can turn around and say it's not true. This image shows the destruction caused in Paris, France during the recent protests, and the rating is false. Let's just look at the story. Okay, AI-generated image of violent protests near Eiffel Tower in Paris shared as real. Okay, so somebody posted this. I hate this. There we go. Here we go. So, now I could look at that. If you've played around with AI, you go, that doesn't really look real. Is that a real picture? So, this guy says, look, today's Paris. Oh, it's unbelievable. And, yeah, fake. But these are all things that I think you could look at for 2 minutes and you'd be able to determine it as well. The Philippine Navy sent warships last month to challenge Chinese Coast Guard vessels at Panatag Shoal. And they're saying, no, that's not true. The risk of cancer can be reduced with Botana oil. Don't even know what that is. Doesn't even sound true. A video shared on Twitter claims to show a building on fire in France. You guessed it. It's false. And if we scroll through this, oh, here's a good one. There's a claim on TikTok. Video shows crowd in Nanterre, France, protesting the killing of the teenager. And they're saying, oh, actually, it's in Mexico City. So when we scroll through, these are all the latest fact checks, and they're all misleading. They're all false. Like here, this is Snopes. In the summer of 2023, Disney will begin opening pediatric transgender clinics. Disney is opening medical clinics? Really? Obviously, this is a fake story. Snopes says, oh, they've labeled it satire. Because you know what? You find satire if you are if you're a fact checker. Just go out and find some satire and then fact check it. It's not hard to do. It takes, what, about 10 minutes to write an article? Oh, here's an article saying that Disney is going to have transgender clinics. That was actually a joke. See, now this is a squash match, right? This is an easy win. It doesn't take long. You don't need to look into it. You don't need to do a whole lot of research. It's like a little tiny local guy going up against a 7'3", 380-pound guy in pro wrestling. You know the result before it even happens. You know that it's a result. We can scroll through this, and all we see are false, 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 false. Yeah, Lady Gaga announced her endorsement of Donald J. Trump for president. Does anyone think that that's real? Of course it's false. You know? It was a joke. False, false. This one, they're calling this one Fantasy Island, meaning false. False, 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 false. Look, I'm just going on and on. All of these are false. Finally, we came to one that's true. And let's look at how easy this one is. Snopes says, Elon Musk appeared as himself in Iron Man 2. And they did a fact check, and they said, yeah, he did. You just IMDb, and you can look. This is not fact checking. What this is these are all fake, made up, inconsequential stories, and they're done so that just over time you keep seeing, oh, look, the fact checker's right, the fact checker's right, the fact checker's right. And that's where they get their power. Because now something can come out and they can judge it, but because they've built up this credibility of all of these silly stories, they're saying, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. You automatically will then believe them when they say something important. And that's where the persuasion, that's where the power comes in. If you were to say that fact-checking is a bunch of BS, they're a bunch of BS on the important things. They're pretty good at all the nonsense, right? But guess what? We're all pretty good at the nonsense. You could ask me, hey, Tom, I heard that Lady Gaga endorsed Trump. I would say, yeah, she didn't. But do you need to look that up? No, I don't need to look that up. I know that didn't happen. But I can look it up. It'll take me 15 seconds. And then, yes, that's not real. So that's one way that I want you to look at fact-checking. It is the squash match of journalism. Yeah. And don't just take my word for it. Today, if you want to, go check out fact check tools on Google, and you can explore all of the recent fact checks for yourself. I just showed you, I scrolled, we went through, I don't know, at least 50 stories. They were all false. The first true story that came up was about Elon Musk being an Iron Man 2. Again, is that consequential at all to anyone's life? Of course not. Of course not. These are all squash matches. And frankly, I think that pro wrestling is a lot more believable than most fact-checking organizations. But anyway, I got a great show to get to today. Got a number of stories. And remember, stick around in the after show. I'll be going through all of your comments on D-Live. I got my first D-Live comment. Lungborough is over there, says hello, and gives one of these. Thank you, Lungborough. We're making it happen on D-Live, too. We're also on Rumble. We're live on Rumble. And we're live on YouTube. So stick around. I'll be going through all of your comments. But first up, let's get to a little international news. Oh, I need a longer interstitial so I can have a slug of coffee and get everything set for the next story. Or an engineer. That's what I need. I need a helper. Anyway, did you hear about Haiti? It's like a twisted home improvement show meets a gangster movie. Instead of fixing houses, they're renovating the whole country while armed gangs call the shots. It's Extreme Makeover Gang Edition. Here's the story. Representatives from the UN are urging the international community to intervene in Haiti to stabilize the country, which is facing severe security and humanitarian crises. Gangs control the capital and commit frequent acts of violence, including kidnapping and murder. The UN and Haiti's prime minister have called for an international force, but no country stepped up to lead the operation. In the absence of sufficient security measures, vigilante groups have taken matters into their own hands, resulting in the killing of alleged gang members. The situation has further complicated Haiti's security landscape. UN Secretary General has emphasized the need for a robust security force to dismantle the gangs and restore security. Elections have not been held since 2016, and questions surround the legitimacy of the current prime minister. The United States is actively seeking a country to lead the intervention, while China supports an arms embargo on Haiti. Urgent action is required to address the violence, instability, and provide humanitarian assistance to millions in need. So, this is really a shame. This is really a shame what's happening in Haiti. And it's hard for me to talk about, but I think it is so cruel that we're allowing this to happen. And you're like, well, you know, they're an independent country, Tom. They can do whatever they want to. You know, sometimes the United States seems to go everywhere in the world if there's some natural resources that they can get, right? If there's money to be made. Not a whole lot of money to be made in Haiti. You don't have any natural resources in Haiti. And it's been referred to, right, as an S-hole country. But what's happening there is so terrible. Typically, I am against intervention. Just as a matter of principle. Most of the time, I think the U.S. ought to mind their own business. But in the case of Haiti, with everything that's happening there, someone needs to step in and have some security for those folks. I wouldn't be opposed to the U.S. just rolling in there to get some order. And most of the time, I'm against that. I'd be for anybody rolling into Haiti if they can, you know, secure the country. I wonder why. I wonder why we're letting that happen. I don't know. I can't read minds, and neither can you. But it is, it's ponderous, you know. It's ponderous. Anyway, let's get to some other military stuff. Do you hear the latest? President Biden has approved providing cluster munitions to Ukraine. Yeah, because nothing says peaceful resolution like exploding bombs raining down from the sky. It's like giving someone a flamethrower to resolve a conflict over a parking spot. Who needs negotiation skills when you can just scatter explosive gifts all across the country? It's like Oprah with a twist. You get a bomb, you get a bomb, and you get a bomb. Everybody gets a bomb. The absurdity of war, you know, and sometimes you just gotta try to make a joke about it to not cry. That's how I feel. President Biden's approved the provision of U.S. cluster munitions to Ukraine despite their high failure rates and their ban in almost every country. The move aims to support Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russian troops and address the shortage of conventional artillery. Ugh, having a hard time with words today. So, you know, Ukraine's running out of regular artillery. So, yeah, let's just give them cluster bombs. That makes sense, right? What is a cluster bomb? Do you know? Well, it's a weapon that releases multiple smaller bombs known as bomblets. Oh, that's cute. And submunitions over a wide area. They can be dropped from aircraft, fired from the ground, or sea. They were initially used in World War II to target dispersed military targets. Cluster bombs are controversial because a significant number of the bomblets fail to explode immediately, posing long-term threat to civilians. The failure rate, or dud rate, ranges from 10 to 40% in recent conflicts. Unexploded bomblets can remain hazardous for years, can be mistaken for toys by children, resulting in injuries and fatalities. Civilians, especially children, are the primary victims of cluster bombs. Many countries have joined the 2008 Convention on Cluster Munitions, which bans the production, transfer, stockpiling, and use of cluster munitions and requires assistance for victims. However, Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. are not signatories to that convention, and they've used cluster bombs in various conflicts. So this is really disgusting. Cluster bombs, I mean, you know, all bombs are bad. These cluster bombs, like, we know what happens with this. We know what happens. A lot of them don't explode, and they will be there until they do explode. When a kid finds it. Biden sending these cluster bombs to Ukraine, which are going to be dropped mainly in Ukraine, you know, against the Russians. Ukrainian children are going to die years and years and years from now because of this. You know, Ukraine was running out of their regular munitions, right? There was talk that Ukraine and Russia were going to get together and try to hash out some kind of agreement to end this thing. That would have been good. But Joe Biden stepped in and say, oh, we can't end this. We can't end this war. I got an idea. Why don't I give you things that are going to kill Ukrainian kids for decades to come? Yeah. I'll give you something that's going to kill Ukrainian kids long after I've left this mortal coil. That's what Biden's doing. I'm just kind of disgusted by the whole thing. Oh, Tom, you're against cluster bombs? Well, you must be a Putin puppet. Yeah. Yep, that's how it works. That's how it works. You're either with us or you're with the terrorists. Yeah, that's real persuasive. This is just kind of, I don't know. It's like, don't ever think that someone can't go lower than they've gone before, because they always keep coming back and they will surprise you and they will go even lower. This sending cluster bombs to Ukraine is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. There's no nuance to it whatsoever today. This is going to get... This is killing children. Yay. Congratulations. And they're doing this in our name, right? Awesome. I really don't think that if you want the Ukraine war to end, because it's essentially over, they just got to negotiate it now. They're just going to keep it going until, I guess until we get another president. So we need any other president than our current president, and then the war will be over. So, for that sake, yeah, I'll keep my hope to myself on that one. But let's what's happening here in the U.S.? Volkswagen Group has chosen Austin, Texas for their first autonomous driving program in North America. And I gotta say, it's a smart move. Austin's already filled with trendy hipsters and tech enthusiasts, so why not throw in a self-driving electric van into the mix? I can picture it now, a row of ID Buzz, that's what they're called, cruising down South Congress or Guadalupe, obeying all the traffic laws while the locals, they zip by on their scooters. Here's the story. Volkswagen Group, they chose Austin, Texas for their first autonomous driving program in North America. It's deploying ID Buzz electric vans with autonomous technology from Mobileye and a 3-year pilot program. Unlike in Germany, Volkswagen won't create its own ride-hailing service in Austin, but plans to develop autonomous ID Buzz vehicles for fleet use. Previously, Volkswagen invested in Argo AI, an autonomous vehicle startup, but that partnership faced challenges, leading to its closure. Volkswagen will establish a subsidiary called Volkswagen Autonomous Driving Mobility and Transport in the U.S. Initially, 10 ID Buzz vans will be tested in Austin with human supervisors, the company intends to expand the program to more cities in North America. So more of these, like I say, you know, I did a story about the Zoox, right, in Las Vegas, little autonomous vehicle, and they have a short little area that they're doing there. But now, Volkswagen doing these vans in Austin, Texas. I think we're going to turn around a year from now, and these autonomous vehicles are going to be everywhere. You know, it's going to happen a lot quicker than you think. You know, as soon as one of them works, boom, it's going to be everywhere. And I think it's really going to change things up. And these VW little buses, they look pretty cool. I'm a fan. I think that I don't care for the aesthetics of most vehicles today, but I kind of like these little Volkswagen ID Buzz. But let me know what you think. And lastly, we got to do some good news. Let's get to some good news. Yeah. You hear about Oregon's Salmonberry Trail. They're turning an old railroad into a hiking trail, complete with farmlands, dense forests, and a grand finale at the Oregon coast. It's like a choose-your-own adventure, except the only choice you make is to just keep going. It's the perfect opportunity for tourists to experience nature, learn about farming, get their steps in, all aboard the Salmonberry Trail, where your train is your own 2 feet. So there's a new trail that's being developed in Washington County, Oregon, to connect Banks, that's the town, and the coast. The trail, called the Salmonberry Trail, will replace an old retired stretch of railroad near Buxton. The plan is for an 82-mile trail to be completed by 2025. And funding and volunteers are still needed. Volunteer work groups have already cleared much of the trail. And the next step is to remove the rails and ties. The trail will provide increased access to smaller communities, offer opportunities for walking, hiking, and biking, and horseback riding. The trail is expected to have both physical and mental health benefits, offering a chance for people to enjoy nature and have fun outdoors. I think this is awesome. And what I really love about this is they're saying they expect it to be done by 2025. 2 years from now, they're going to be done. This is incredible. I have been kind of hoping and wishing that Oregon would do this type of things forever. I've been here for over 20 years. We have something here called the 40-mile loop around Portland, which is a bicycle trail, except it's not quite finished. It's like 90% of the way. You got a nice car-free place to ride. But if you want to do the whole loop, you end up having to, just go down this busy street for a quarter of a mile and then get back onto the trail. Like they never quite finished the trail. And I always thought if they could just if they had a 40-mile bicycle trail that was safe, that you didn't have to go on a busy street, people would be visiting from all over the country to do this. Because, how awesome would that be? I mean, Oregon is so beautiful, especially in the summer. And if you had a family trip, hey, everybody, let's go to Oregon, and then we can go on this fun and safe bike riding adventure. But now they're doing this trail, and it's starting near Portland. It's almost like I could bike to it. It's over on the west side of Portland is where it's starting. But you could just put your bike on the light rail and get pretty close to where this trail is starting and take it all the way to the coast. You know, how awesome would that be? You know, bring a little tent, you bike to the coast, you set it up, you camp for the night, play around on the beach and bike back. I think that this is really something that could be awesome. That could be really awesome for people. These are the kind of projects that I like. I think probably 99% of money for these public projects is a waste. And this is actually one I support. So I wanted to highlight it today. But let me know if they had an 84-mile safe, beautiful bike trail in Oregon from Portland to the Pacific Ocean. Is that something you'd maybe give a try? Would you come check it out? Let me know in the comments. And that's all I have for today. Stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all of your comments. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And I'll be back on Monday with more good stuff. Until then, peace. So here we are in the after show. Let's check out the chat. Let's look. Duggo's hit me up with $5 Friday already. Thanks for the fact check Friday. I appreciate you, Duggo, for that. Longborough, hi there. I'm enjoying a French roast. Tom, what coffee blends do you like? Recently, I have been getting more into lighter roasts. Lighter roasts. I have been, just because I went to Colombia last fall, I've been doing a lot of Colombian coffee, to be honest. That's mainly what I've been getting. But most of the year, I've been doing medium roasts. And just recently, I'm trying this light roast, which I really enjoy, which is Colombian. Looking at the state of maids in Canada, that Netherlands euthanasia of disabled to save the planet isn't all that far-fetched. Well, I understand that, yes, some maids in Canada have been doing some nutty stuff there. I mean, Ukraine is already carpeted with landmines. Kids are going to be stepping on those things for decades to come. Cluster bombs are just icing on the cake at this point. Yeah. Yes, it is. I agree. Lungborough hit me up with a $10 tip and an American flag. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. I'd love to give the trail a try, but not in Portland, no offense. Duggo. Well, I got to tell you, the bike trails around Portland really are nothing like what you've seen of the scary stuff that's happening in Portland. In fact, you know, Portland's a pretty big city, and I think it's coming back. I do think it's coming back. You know, they've implemented this camping ban. I haven't seen that it's been that effective yet. But, you know, I went out the other week and I went to a very popular street, Mississippi Avenue, for a show, and I was walking around. I didn't see any signs of all of the terrible things in Portland on that street. They've cleaned it up. And so I think we're coming back. I think we're coming back. Natasha saying first, what's up? Maybe last too. What's up, Doug? Apothecary John. Hey, everybody. What's up, Bastille? Mark Dice started that Disney-sponsored gender clinic rumor. Yeah, Mark Dice does a lot of hyperbole. He's really good at drumming up outrage and clicks. So for that, he's really good. I should probably learn how to do that, and I might actually, have a successful channel if I did that. Haiti and unexploded bomblets. Today's show would give my ex-husband a PTSD episode. Yeah, kind of tough. What kind of vehicle do you drive? Well, I don't think I need to let everyone know that, but maybe I got a couple vehicles, right? Maybe I do. But I do have I have a diesel Jetta. And if people really cared about the environment, like they say they care about the environment, they would be treating me like a rock star for having what could be the most highly efficient vehicle on the planet. But no. And who knows how long I'm going to be able to keep it, because Oregon keeps talking about just doing away with all diesel in the state of Oregon, which is just going to be insane. I used to come across some crazy people on Denver's bike trails. There have been some nuts on the bike trails, and you have to be safe when you're out in the middle of nowhere, right? But man, I really enjoy going on long bike rides, especially out in, if you can get outside of town where you have a bike path and it's just in nature. There's a couple in the gorge, which is just one of the most beautiful places on earth. And they've taken old railroad tracks and they've taken them out and put in paved bike paths. And it's just gorgeous, especially in summer. This place is really great in the summer, and most of the year it's cloudy and gray and wet. So you really have to get out and enjoy it while it's nice. But yeah, lots of good bike paths. Yeah. Anyway, what did you think of the fact check today? About the analogy that I had. I really noticed that when I was going through just a list of all the recent fact checks. They were all false, and they were all layups. They were all so easy. And it just really got me thinking about that idea that they are squash matches in pro wrestling. Maybe there's something there, maybe it's not. So I guess I'll look forward to the feedback on that. Anyway, I hope you all have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday with another show. Until then, peace.